Hello, and welcome to I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. My name is Jeremy Zelick. I am the host and Alton Brown of the group. Joining me this week, as always, is...
your friend on the show, Ben Montoya.
Ian Davis. Perhaps the real Alton Brown of the show.
Ooh, fight.
Do I have to kill you now?
Please.
And Evan Aubrey.
Yay! Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na. So exciting news.
Jeremy, you and Ben look like you're on the set of like NPR. I don't know. It just looks very official. Jeremy's got the Ira Glass outfit.
Does Ira Glass wear like a fancy outfit to his recording sessions?
Oh, absolutely.
I would assume so.
You know that motherfucker's over there wearing a smug little vest and tie. And shit.
Jeremy, your smug little vest.
You can hear it in the constriction of his like neck. He's like, it just
how do you think he sounds when he takes the necktie off?
He has a very deep voice.
Drops like 12 cents. It's just like
Ira Glass.
He's like on the ground, right? Like
he's sitting on the ground recording.
No, like he with these stories, like he goes to the places and talks to the people. Yeah.
Oh,
sometimes
on the
he
ground.
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they talk to the people over the radio.
What?
You mean over the phone?
No, I know what you're saying though. Sometimes he is physically recording in the places that he's recording.
I'm picturing
stories.
him in like, remember the villain in like the last John Wick movie?
Mm-hmm.
He's
just
dressed
lad.
Yeah, he's dressed like him. He's got a pocket watch, but then he's like going into like an inner city school that's like impoverished, and he's interviewing these people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he probably does present like that. For the listeners at home, Ben has mixed himself a beverage tonight.
Oh yeah,
it's equal parts Starry and equal parts mug root beer.
Well, I have to say, first of all, I was offered the opportunity to have a glass with some ice. So Jeremy's learning, but it's not just any old glass. It's like a green fucking goblet.
Ooh.
Like
so
it's like something you drink absinthe out of or something.
No,
it is.
It's a punch glass.
Oh,
from my grandma.
Okay.
So it was made in like the 50s.
Wow. Okay. Yes. Well, I feel very fancy. Like I'm at a nice party right now.
If Ira Glass were hosting some sort of I Choose You related event, he would definitely be mixing mug root beer and Starry soda together.
I guess that means I'm the Ira Glass of the show.
Yeah. And how is that mixture?
Oh, it's so good. Jeremy, I'm not Starry. This is amazing.
Wow.
It's not Starry. It's Starry plus mug.
Yeah.
Just like the good old days.
the good old days of last season.
Yeah.
In a new Starry ad where like someone's dating lemon lime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does mug show up as like the dog at their feet, or is it like lime and mug with the like famous actress?
Polycule? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I would
mug
say
is the bowl.
Yeah.
As far as whether or not I think this is the crux of your question, which is whether or not lemon lime would like be compatible in a polycule with mug.
Yeah.
As far as the flavors go, they are very compatible. I would say that is a threesome that is delicious in every possible
It's a swingers
way.
club in a cup.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And I think very appropriate to the Ira Glass experience.
This is like the
a polycule.
This is like the polyamorous drink of choice.
Why
I
is
think when you order like a Starry and a mug at a bar, people's ears perk up.
You're just tipping people off.
Yeah, it's like signaling others that I'm here and I want 3 other people to join in with me.
Exactly. Looking for my lem lime and mug dog.
Yes. Ben, why hasn't there been an episode of This American Life about polycules?
I'm sure there has. I can't tell you that I've listened to every single episode of This American Life, unfortunately.
I mean, it's going
there
for
are a
like
lot of American lives to cover. So
yeah, and it's been going for over 30 years.
Yeah.
They do 3 stories per episode, so that's like 10,000 stories.
Yeah. That's far too many for me to keep track of. I'm sure they've at least mentioned a polycule.
You think Ira Glass has uttered the words polycule?
Okay, I don't know if I'd go that far.
American polycule. I mean, he's at least read about it. He's probably said it, maybe not on the radio, but
Like whispered it under his breath.
Yes.
Scrolling
Well,
Facebook.
well, I mean, like, it shows up in the pages of the New Yorker basically every week. So he's reading that. So it has to come up frequently enough. Now, I bet that the host of Wait, Don't Tell Me, he said polycule on the air multiple times.
Oh, the things that guy has said?
Yes.
Oh,
That guy's kind of a little freak, isn't he?
Shout out to my boy, Peter Sagal.
Yes.
Yeah,
Twisted fantasies.
asking
get him on the
questions
show.
about the news.
Sick twisted news fantasies.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we got a lot of NPR bits out of tonight. Ben's obviously drinking the lemon lime mug flavor. I have a Raz cranberry LaCroix. Delicious, as always.
Wait, Ben, did you only bring one mug and one Starry? You didn't share for the class?
I have more mugs and Starries in my fridge, but Ben, what is in my fridge at the moment?
There's literally nothing except for LaCroix and these leftover Starries and mugs, which
Wow.
I know that you're never going to drink them, which is why I brought them.
Bachelor's Paradise.
Well,
Yeah.
see, the thing is that I was gone for the weekend, and usually when I leave for like more than a night, I don't want like stuff in my fridge. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to buy groceries. I haven't been able to buy groceries, so literally my fridge is just seltzer water and lemon lime soda and mug. So really living it up at the moment. Ian, what do you got there today?
I've got a pineapple cooey, and I can't open it.
Yeah,
no.
it's kind of edging you right now.
It's-
Like you look like you've been trying to turn it for like a minute straight.
I've got like
Use the
45
shirt.
degrees of shirt. I tried the shirt. The cap is too slick.
See, when you go to the bar and you say, I want a pineapple cooey, that's how you know you want to be edged.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ben's at one end of the bar with the Starry and mug, and I'm at the other end with the cooey, and we lock eyes.
Yeah, they don't open it for you. You have to open it yourself at the bar
I
to
can't.
demonstrate.
I can't. I want to bite it, but I don't know if that'll help.
No.
Pliers?
Don't hurt your
Oh
teeth.
shit! I do apply. Got my multi.
Oh, right at the desk.
Oh, got a
We're
Leatherman.
getting tactile up in here.
Yeah. This is
I
don't
think those
don't
needle
bring,
nose are a little too narrow.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, wow, we're
Just
doing.
don't spill it all over. Oh, whoa.
Oh, imagine if you had to open a go-gurt with
Oh,
pliers.
I heard
Oh,
that.
whoa.
Oh yeah. We're in
That'll
business,
do it.
baby.
Hey, now you can chew your drink.
Was it everything you dreamed of?
Pineapple might be my least favorite flavor I've had of the three, but
Edging wasn't worth it then.
never is. It's got,
Never.
the like aftertaste of pineapple, where it's just kind of like tangy, like dissolving your tongue.
Yeah.
That's the whole.
Yeah.
The whole drink.
That's unfortunate.
No, it's
Evan,
good.
you said okay.
I like it. I like that flavor.
Yeah, pineapple's probably not my favorite flavor of beverage kind of situation, so I get it. Evan, you said you had a large beer before we started the show.
I do.
And what is that large beer?
I got a large beer and I got that dog in me because I got a Frozen Wolf Hazy IPA.
Frozen
Got a
wolf.
wolf on the can.
Okay,
and it
nice.
says, "Where land meets sea, a better world is brewing."
Wow, that's deep.
Are there two wolves inside you, and they're both different beers?
I think there's just one.
There's just the one, and it's double exposed with a picture of the forest.
There you go.
When you said you got that dog, I was excited that you finally located alcoholic mug root beer.
They got to do it at some point, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they basically have to. Like,
Yeah.
they're written in the Constitution is a clause. It's the mug clause. It's very deep. You need like you guys remember seeing the movie the Santa Claus 2, the Mrs. Claus, and they bring out those like funny glasses that have like 20
Yes.
glasses on them, and they look really small. That's what you have to do for the Constitution to see that
The mug clause.
The mug clause that all soft beverages have to have an alcoholic component counterpoint.
You're telling me the mug clause isn't that like when the mug dog mascot dies, someone has to take its place?
And get married.
Yeah, and get married and be replaced by Jack Frost in the third movie.
Do you think perhaps like the mug aesthetic that they're building with like mug moments and just kind of being a little like edgy?
It's true.
They're trying to like shift into the Mike's Hard Lemonade market. Like they're trying to be like, so it'll just
The
be like,
absurdists alcoholic beverage.
Yes.
they're just going to call it Mugs Hard.
Yeah. Get hard for mugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
I mean, they better. And you know how, like, you know, Mike's Hard Lemonade is like, you can barely taste the alcohol and you like slam a bunch of them and get real drunk kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's going to be similar with the mug lemonade. It's kind of like that
Lemonade.
A lemonade. Jeez, it's because as you said, Mike's Hard. Mug kind of situation.
Mug's hard.
Yeah, Mug's Hard.
It'll be like 20%, but you don't taste it at all.
Real hard.
Like it's incredible that they did it.
And they only sell it in like those really fat cans of like Foster's and like
Yes. Yes.
and only like single cans, not 6-packs.
The cans are wider than they are tall. It's like a can of
Yeah.
tuna
Yes.
fish.
Yeah, it's
You're drinking from a barrel, basically.
Yeah, it replicates the look of like a dog bowl, and you crack it open, and you have to like drink it.
Yeah, you
like
don't
this.
you're not allowed to just crack open the little thing. You have to like get a can opener to like open the full
Yes.
outer
And you
edge
start turning
lap
it, and it
from
like
Yeah.
it spills a little bit and gets on the floor, and that God, why aren't they paying us? We know,
To lap up
yeah,
hard root beer like dogs.
Yes.
Dog bowl
I
with
don't know.
ice in it. Mugs Hard is in it. Every case comes with a little collar you wear. People start having parties where like everyone's wearing the collars and lapping
Wear
it
that
up.
to a bar, and that's how you know they're really.
yeah. That's how you know. You go to the bar and you order a Mug's Hard, and that's how you know it's time to break out the collars.
But they don't like slide it down the bar to you. They just like put it on the ground next to. It's humiliating.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's what you want.
That 100%. Well, you know what? I think we've cracked LaCroix Boys this week. We've solved every drink-related issue.
The LaCroix code.
Yeah. the LaCroix code is also Apple, much like the Da Vinci Code. But we need to talk about some serious business here on I Choose You, which is the portion of the show. Each week on I Choose You, we randomly select a new Pokemon to cook and consume. We share recipes that we use with this Pokemon, Iron Chef style, and then we vote in a very democratic fashion with who has the best recipe. And then we celebrate the winner in a celebration of specialness. And it's really fun, and I'm glad you're listening. This week's Pokemon is Zacian. Zacian?
Zacian.
Did someone actually confirm the pronunciation? Because I didn't have time to.
Well,
think
see,
about
I
it.
looked at the name origin on Bulbapedia, and it said it's a corruption of the word the cyan, like THE space CYAN.
Zacian.
So I
Okay.
think it's Zacian.
Okay.
I need a bad computer enunciation like spoken to me. Where's
Yeah.
the little speaker button on Bulbapedia? Oh.
It might like I did last week when I thought that I was an L and say Zaclan.
There's
Yeah, we
there's one of those built into the program I use to take attendance, and sometimes I accidentally click. Like I try to click on the kid's name to like pull up something, and I accidentally click on the pronunciation and like loudly over the speaker. it
Oh, whoa.
Gabriel, like
Oh, yikes.
it's like
Don't you think that with the advancement of AI technology, the text to speak would be better?
So it's funny that you bring this up, Jeremy, because just today, in fact, there's news. There's AI news, because when is there not?
Yeah.
But OpenAI released GPT-4 letter O, which is basically a voice version of their GPT, and it sounds like Scarlett Johansson in her.
Like
and
in
it's
the
very
movie.
it's like it's just begging you to like hook up with it.
Guys, why
It's
do
bad.
we already had that. We already saw what happened.
Yeah, he
we
got
know what
sad.
happens.
Yeah,
we
did
don't
no
want to be
one
sad
learn?
anymore.
Yeah, they listen to it and then they're like, I want to date my computer, and then they can't, and then they get sad. And I think that's the future we're looking at, kind of situation. I don't want to be that guy, but I think I'm going to be it. So
You're gonna be the sad
could've-
guy.
no, I'm me predicting that people will be sad because they can't date their computers.
My mistake.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just, I feel like if you wanted to avoid that sort of dystopian type feel of your product,
you make the
you
AI
wouldn't,
sound like Danny DeVito.
Yeah, exactly. You would
Yes.
steer in the opposite direction. Like, you wouldn't actually choose a voice that sounds like an actress of an AI in an actual sci-fi
It's
movie.
really
Like,
bizarre.
That sounds like
it's
a
got a
bad
very
choice.
like seductive undertone to it. It's really bad.
Sounds like I might have to pick up a really big collared jacket.
Big color.
Collared.
Oh, color.
Jesus, you're killing Ben.
Jesus Christ.
All right, but our AI overlords haven't yet cracked I Choose You, the greatest podcast in the world. So, who won last week?
Me.
Evan, why don't you kick us off with your Zacian recipe?
I will. And so this week, I was inspired by the sword in the mouth. You know,
While we were busy cooking, you were studying the blade.
I was studying the blade. Yes, and I was like, how can we make this blade food? And I think I've cracked it. So, but we're not eating metal this week. It's more of an homage to the blade. So we're making lasagna zucchini boats, but it's kind of okay. Stay with me. It's kind of a conceptual recipe here. We're going for art. Okay, so so take your zucchini. You're gonna slice it in half.
Long ways?
Long ways. You're gonna maybe cut one end pointier than the other end.
Okay.
And then you're gonna use the pieces that you cut. We're not gonna discard those. We're gonna put those, stick little toothpicks in them, and then stick them to the bottom of the other side. And what do you have? Maybe a sword-shaped vehicle.
Okay.
So basically, what you're gonna do, and then you like hollow out a little bit of the middle.
Okay.
You
So
take out the seeds.
Yeah, you got your like sword boat base,
Okay.
and then you're gonna take your Zacian meat that we're of course, no other way to honor a legendary best than to run it through a meat grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're obviously gonna get some ground beef or ground Zacian meat out of that. You're just gonna pan fry it up a little bit, just get it all nice and crumbly and good, and then you're gonna put that in your boat. You're gonna drizzle a little bit of your tomato sauce on that as well, and then you're gonna top it with your ricotta cheese, and then just repeat one more time. This isn't like a self-contained boat. It's gonna get a little messy here. So you're gonna do maybe a couple layers of that, and then
When you get on a boat, do you want the captain to go over the speaker and say, like, folks, this isn't a self-contained boat. It's gonna get messy.
yeah, I'm ready for the splash zone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you finish it off. You salt bay it with a little bit of Parmesan, just to get a little nice crust on top, and you've got your Zacian sword zucchini boat lasagna.
If Garfield ate this, would he become king?
I mean, probably, right? Like it's one of those things though where maybe the cheese mixture is so strong that like you have to be the chosen one to pull the sword from the cheese, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, wait. So can you explain the lasagna connection, actually?
So it's lasagna ingredients minus the noodles. So it's basically everything else that you like layer in this boat, but obviously it's a lot of things, so it's obviously gonna like overflow. It's just like a nice little healthier version if you're trying to be like a little bit going light on the carbs,
Okay.
It's
want
keto week or something.
Yeah. I mean, Garfield's always on keto week. That's like his big
Apparently.
shtick these days.
I don't know. Is that what they do now? Is that what Jim Davis does now?
Yeah, he's
This
like,
is
I
what
love
Chris Pratt
keto.
does now.
Yes.
He says, "What if Garfield was keto for this week?"
Yeah, I mean, he
I don't
probably
know.
does.
I
That's how
don't
he
know
gets
about
Gen
that.
Z interested again.
Yeah, Garfield's been going for almost 50 years. What the fuck are you like? I've got to make one of these every goddamn day. What are you gonna do? You just say Garfield does keto this week, kind of situation. He gets swole by the end of the week, and then he eats like a potato chip, and then turns back into his normal self.
And yet he still hates Mondays.
And
like
he still fucking
like
hates Mondays.
that is the one universal truth that I think will keep him relevant forever.
That's true.
Yes.
Do you think Garfield vapes?
Probably.
He
I
smokes
think
a pipe.
I feel like it's more likely that he did like a Garfield vaping strip than he did like a Garfield does keto strip. I mean, that just seems more likely.
Let me look up Garfield vaping.
I'm sure you'll find some great stuff.
No, it's all fan art. But he has smoked a pipe in the past, as we all know. But Mr. Davis, free advice.
Yes.
I know. Mr. Davis, free advice. Garfield vaping. I'm sure you could get an extra like $10 million in the Garfield movie if you include that in there.
Have you ever, Ian, thought of like doing like a genealogy like exploration to see like if you're how many degrees of separation you are from James
James Davis?
It can't be that.
Yeah, what if he's
far.
like your like great uncle or something?
Man, I can't wait to inherit the Garfield house.
Yes.
The Garfield fortune.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it is quite a fortune. I bet Mr. Davis has tens of millions of dollars to his name.
Man, I'll finally be able to quit this show. When I make all that money.
With all that Garfield money.
Well,
Yeah.
once you inherit Garfield, you're not going to continue Garfield?
Oh, interesting. So, like, I totally could, right?
No, so
I could
Jim Davis dies and his ghost comes to you and is like, the curse has been passed on.
He leaves the pen to you, and it's a pen with a Garfield on the end of it.
Yes.
but I don't know how to draw, so I have to like use an AI to draw the strips, and then I have to come up with text that like makes it somehow relevant.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Yeah, there you go. And he's like on like his phone. Garfield has a smartphone these days. That is true.
That is
Really?
true.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And he's like on TikTok or whatever, and he like does a TikTok dance. So
Jeez, that hurts.
that's gotta hurt. Yeah, Garfield should perpetually be in the like late 70s to mid 80s as a being.
Just seems like a technology he wouldn't be able to understand or relate to. So
I mean, he is a 48-year-old cat. So.
Exactly.
Let me. All right. I'm thinking about like the bullshit my middle schoolers say every day. All right. Garfield looks at his phone and then he looks up at the audience and he says, "I'm a Sigma male." Skibbity toilet, and then he fucking like rips a really fat cloud on his and this like you can't even see the last panel because it's all
it's too the cloud is too fat.
yeah.
Ian, is that really what the kids are saying these days?
Yeah.
That was all alien language to me.
What you don't know about Skibbity Toilet, the video with the guy in the toilet who like sings the song about Skibbity Toilet?
It's really
Say that I do.
imagine like the dumbest stuff that parents probably thought we were like ingesting as children, but really ramp it up.
So much worse.
There was an art to the Flash animation of the early 2000s that we
like-
grew up on.
When they did
That was
Potter
fun.
Puppet Pals,
Yeah.
and they said Snape, Severus Snape for 2 minutes straight, those were real puppets
They
with
were
real people.
They were real puppets.
true.
And that was made by a real man who has had great influence over the internet.
Do you think much like technology has kind of this exponential advancement where maybe exponential, it's like a curve that like there's slowly less and less advanced innovation as time goes on.
Asymptotic.
That has to be the same with like things that are hip with generations,
The
right?
culture. I was thinking this
They're
today.
just scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Well,
Really.
see, I was thinking this literally today, where it's like when we were kids, there was stuff on the internet, but to be like popular with children, you would basically just have to watch TV.
Television, yeah.
And it was
Right.
what was on TV, and that's what kids were into. And you can't fucking do that anymore. I can't fucking turn on the television and be like, this is what kids like. No, it's not. They're mainlining Skibbity Toilet and episodes of Bluey until they're combined into one thing in their head, and then they try to explain it to me, and they're like, I don't know what the words you're saying. So anyway, I'm getting old, but it will happen to you as well. And that's what the new Garfield is about. Anyway, lasagna.
Yeah, I guess and that was where I guess this line of questioning came from, was I wasn't really getting lasagna from your recipe, even though it does sound delicious. but maybe I just need to embrace the future and like, you know, the new Garfield,
Yeah,
like how
kids,
the new Garfield
kids aren't
would.
eating lasagna noodles anymore.
No,
Exactly.
Kids just aren't eating lasagna anymore. Ian.
Would, like, I sit down at the restaurant, would a dog walk out with the lasagna sword in its mouth and it, like, serves it, you know,
Ooh.
brings it to me?
I would hope so. I saw this video the other day of a dog with like a LARP sword in its mouth, and it was just going to town on its owner,
Nice.
just like hitting, whacking shit out.
I would imagine.
So I imagine, just like any other good boy, it would just like shake, and then all the cheese and sauce would go everywhere.
I thought it would be like when you put an egg in a golden retriever's mouth and they don't break it.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking
Very
about?
gentle.
Yes.
No, this is just chaos.
Okay. I was going to say, what if you serve this in like a breadstone? So you have to pull the lasagna sword from the breadstone
I do
for your
like
dinner.
And it's a garlic breadstone. Like the inside is garlic butter.
shit.
So it seasons your meal when you take it out.
Oh, yeah. When you pull it out, it like glistens with the garlic butter from the garlic breadstone.
Wow.
God. Medieval times call us. We've got new innovation products for you.
This is how Olive Garden gets back on top.
Yes. I
Zucchini
mean,
swords.
I will tell you how Olive Garden is getting back on top. They're in the Garfield movie.
Oh, shit, really?
Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
You see, they open the fridge and you
No,
see
no.
a bag of Olive Garden.
No.
in
How
the
much do you think
Garfield
they
fridge.
paid?
Oh,
God
And a
damn it.
Pepsi.
Motherfucker.
it's nothing sacred anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Why is Garfield eating fast casual Italian? This is what I want to know.
There's literally no alternative. Name another chain Italian restaurant that Garf could get his fix.
Buca de Beppo.
Buca de Beppo.
That's
nobody
pretty
knows
good.
what
That's
that
a
fucking
shit ton of
is.
lasagna. That's a shit ton of lasagna.
Nobody
I
knows
love
what that
Buca de
is
Beppo.
outside of New Mexico, right?
Yes, it is. There's one. There's
in-
one right next to your house.
No, I'm
There's
saying
one in Seattle.
there's one in Seattle, but
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not
a national chain.
but it's not like when you're there, you're not family. It's not like a household name.
No,
No,
I'm
when
in
you're there, you get
Beppo's
screamed at
hole.
in Italian.
When I'm in Buco de Beppo's, I'm in Beppo's hole. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Buca de Beppo means in Italian. It means the whole of Beppo.
And when you're there, you're family.
Yeah, and when you're there, your family.
when you're in the hole, it's there.
Yeah. When you eat a bunch of Beppo, you say I'm in a Beppo hole.
Odie has a breadstick in his mouth, kind of like the poor man's Zacian.
Yeah, kind of.
Can we kick him off?
Yeah,
the
this is
table?
like if you were to film a B movie Garfield. That was you get an Odie that has a sword in its mouth. Or a
You know, it's
breadstick.
always been fucked up that in the live action Garfield movies, Garfield's like a cartoon cat, and then Odie's like a normal dog.
Oh yeah.
They do
That's
him
weird.
dirty.
That makes me feel bad when Garfield kicks Odie off of the table because it's like
A real dog.
It's like a cartoon cat kicking a real dog off of a table.
Yeah.
In the new movie, is he also a real dog?
No, they're all animated. It's an
Oh.
animated
Oh,
film.
yes.
Oh, good.
But live action.
So Odie's still the one real dog in the animated film.
Yeah, that'd be funny if it was like a JPEG moved around. All right, let's continue with our recipes. Ian, what's your recipe this week?
So, I'm thinking about the Zacian, and I'm thinking about my workshop because that's where I'm sweating like a fucking pig in there working for
Right.
you listeners.
Right.
And I thought, like, who else spends a lot of time in the workshop, likes to experiment?
Santa
Jeremy.
Claus.
I've never seen Jeremy in a workshop ever.
Oh, you mean Alton Brown?
Yeah,
Okay.
because he likes to experiment, if you know what I mean. And perhaps the most memorable recipe for anyone from Alton Brown: kebabs.
Oh no.
Is this his most memorable recipe?
I mean, that's like the
we-
first episode of
okay.
Oh,
right.
Well, we have discussed this before. I don't know if we remember what it was
Nope.
discussed.
My
but,
mind has been wiped clean like a baby.
Well, that's my job is making the clean slate messy of children. So let me help you. Episode 1 of what's that fucking show? Good Eats?
Good eats. Good eats.
Yeah. Episode 1,
Just okay bites.
him really nerding out about the kebab and about the history of it, the best ways to make it. He like makes it on like an open flame in his backyard. He has like a kebab pit or whatever. And that's really all I could think of with a dog and a sword. You take the dog, you skewer it on the sword. Dog.
Skewer the dog with its own sword.
Yes.
Maybe like chop it into lumps first and then stick it on the sword.
More
Do you
bite.
chop it into lumps with its sword?
Of course, goes without saying. So take your Zac meat, the lumps. You put it on the sword. You stick that over the flame, and then you get another sword. Put all your veggies on that. See what Alton Brown taught me, and which I surely relayed probably 200 episodes ago. You cook the veggies separate from the meat.
Yes.
Which
No cross-contamination here.
I'll tell you, the pre-made kebabs at like Albertsons really steer you wrong because, you know, they're setting you up for failure.
Yeah, because you'll overcook your vegetables and undercook your meat if you do it at the same time.
That's true.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Jeremy. And that's why I'm steering you right with Zacian kebabs.
Kadogs.
Zac kebabs.
Oh, there we go.
What vegetables are we putting on these kebabs tonight?
Oh, you got peppers, you got onions, maybe some zuck chunks.
A zucchini?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Zucchini's good on a kebab, yeah.
It is,
Right?
for sure.
Yeah.
Little tomatoes, too, can sometimes be kind of nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the cherry tomatoes, once they get a little roasted.
Oh yeah, a little sweet in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And can we use another sword to remove the sword food from the first sword?
Yeah. I'll let that happen. I'll let that slide. Maybe use
Probably
a
needs to be a
shield
different
to get the.
It's a plate. The shield is a plate.
Exactly.
Oh.
Bone,
Yeah, I
apple
feel like that's
Yes.
like a fun experience of the kebab situation is like you have a metal skewer that's like served with it, and then you kind of like scrape it off onto your plate.
See, that's my thing with kebabs is like if I can't eat it off of the stick, I'm upset. Like I want to be able to like
Sword
keep it,
swallow?
you know, I want to
Yeah.
form on the cob my veggies and meat as I go.
That's wild.
Do you want a corn on the cob, or do you want to deep throat it, where you like
Oh yeah, sword swallower.
pull it out
There you go.
and it's all gone? That's a very Scooby-Doo-esque way to approach the kebab.
Yeah, something just doesn't sit right with me when I've like worked this hard, skewered all these meats and veggies, and I have to take them off. I want to take them off with my teeth.
Well, unfortunately, that is the way that kebabs are mostly supposed to be eaten.
I guess.
Is off the skewer?
No, but you pull it off.
Take
the
it all
skewer
off.
Yeah,
and
that
then
makes
eat
sense
it.
to me. Yeah.
Especially if it's a metal skewer kind of situation.
Would you consider that that difference being a bone in versus bone out kebab? kind of thing?
Yes. Okay.
Hey, if an animal came with a kebab bone, a keybone, if you will, so you like just pull it out and it's perfectly like chunks of meat along a bone, and you just roast it up from there, that'd be great.
What am I about
Anyway.
to
Telling me
say?
the racks of lamb that they put up in a Greek restaurant is not just on the bone that's spinning around in a circle.
What I'm about to say is potentially controversial.
Okay.
Corn dog. Just a processed kebab.
Just a processed kebab.
kebab.
Well,
Like if you took all the
here's
meat
where-
chunks, ground it up,
Here's where I think you're wrong.
stuck it into
is
put it back on the stick.
if they were like corn dog bites and on a stick, then sure.
Yeah.
I think
So
kebab constitutes like chunks.
Yeah, I would say if you put like pigs on a blanket on a stick, then it's a kebab.
Then
If I took a
and just one is a corn dog. But
Yes.
a tiny one.
Yeah, if you put just one on, that's a corn dog.
I take the corn dog, I cut it into slices, I put it back on the stick.
Then it's a kebab.
That's a kebab.
Yeah.
Kebab.
I guess if there's only one object on the skewer, it's not really a kebab.
Yeah.
And there has to be at least 3.
At
I
least
mean, if there's only two. Well, if there's only
Cube
2 pieces of whatever on the
If you
skewer,
have one
it's not
piece
really a
of meat
kebab
and
either.
one pepper, like if you just put like a steak and an onion on a stick and then grilled that up, that's not really going to work out for you.
Right. I feel like you
That's
need at
a-
least 3.
at
Yeah.
least 3 pieces.
It's 3 chunks of food on the skewer.
Chunks, like,
Does the
Make the kebab. That's all I'm saying.
does the corn dog breading count as an item?
no.
No.
I think it's to incorporate.
They're
Like
melded,
it's
yeah.
been fused
I
through
see.
the frying process. It's been fused to the dog.
So imagine dog and then a piece of bread separate.
That's just a hot dog skewer, my man.
So you're saying you cut up a hot dog and then you alternate it and pieces of bread on the skewer. I would call that a kebab. You got right there. There's multiple
like a-
chunks.
It's like a ballpark kebab.
Yes. Anyway, Ben.
Sounds great, though.
Yes. Ben, what's your recipe this week?
Well, interesting that you say that, Jeremy, because
Okay.
my recipe also has to do with certain dogs.
Oh,
Oh.
Not necessarily on sticks in this situation, but where do I go with this? Okay, so it is a hot dog that we will be arriving at, but I need to first, before we can get to that, I need to steer you into this like little detour that's like a roundabout way of getting there.
Okay.
Okay, of course.
but we
Take
will
us on the
get there.
journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know Sloppy Joe. You know,
If it hadn't been for Sloppy Joe, I'd been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go?
where did you come from, Sloppy-eyed Joe?
oh no.
Except that's not exactly the right person or context that I'm talking about here. But no, the colloquial Sloppy Joe,
Yes.
Which is the sandwich, American sandwich that is like, basically, I mean, it's just like super simple ground beef with tomato sauce mixture.
It's kind of like a not quite barbecue sandwich kind of situation. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's like one of those like just super simple like dinners that's just you can't mess it up, basically, you know.
Because it's so dang sloppy.
Well, and usually it's just a sandwich that is like the slop, which is like the meat and the, you know, maybe you throw some onions and garlic and stuff in there and the tomato sauce all mixed together. And you just put that on a bun, and that's usually the extent of the sandwich. But there's a restaurant that's close to my apartment in San Diego. And sometimes they do a special called a sloppy dog.
Oh.
And I was intrigued for
spoon it
many months, and then I tried it, and it was a hot dog, a pretty big size hot dog, Sloppy Joe mixture right on top of it, bunch of melted cheese right on top of it.
Okay.
It's just a god dang good time. Okay,
When you say sloppy Joe mixture, are you saying like there's more meat
Yes.
on top of your meat? Like, is there meat
Yeah.
and sauce in this mixture? Okay.
yeah, it was like a beef hot dog with like ground beef sloppy dog mixture
Oh.
or Sloppy Joe mixture on top of it.
Give me that
And
sloppy
then-
dog.
Exactly.
I want to. You look at the mug guy and you're like the mug dog and you're like, I want to slop it up.
I want that sloppy dog, baby. Ian.
All right, 2 things. One, you know the mug dog is he's gonna put that sloppy dog in you for sure.
Oh yeah.
2,
Inserted.
explain to me how that's not just a chili dog.
Well, yeah, it's true. Like that is very chili dog. Like I think that usually the chili spelled CHILI usually involves a little bit more materials and spices than like a Sloppy Joe mixture does. Like I think it's
Yeah.
actually a little more spicy. You usually add some like cumin and paprika and like some. You kind of mix it up a little bit. I feel like
More
Sloppy
spice,
Joe's
less barbecue sauce.
right. I feel like Sloppy Joe is like very, you know, it's almost like meatloaf almost. It's got like a more tomato base than it does like a jalapenos and onions or like, you know, more of like a Tex-Mex kind of thing, which I would
Okay.
consider more in the chili dog realm. But they are very similar.
Ian,
Yeah.
you have another question.
Did you eat it with a fork and knife?
You know, they gave me a fork and knife,
And you,
but I got sloppy in there with my hands.
You said
couldn't-
no
they-
when you threw it on.
They couldn't stop me from getting sloppy. And I am encouraging us all to kind of embrace that sloppiness with my recipe, the zloppy dog.
With the Z.
With a Z.
Gotta slop it up.
Because we'll be using Zacian meat for the zloppy dog.
The zany sloppy dog.
Exactly. And so, yeah, basically, similar to Evan, we're just going to throw the meat from the dog straight into the meat grinder, put it in a nice, lovely casing, kind of, it's just like your all-American baseball stadium kind of foot-long hot dog situation kind of situation.
And also, like at a baseball, is it served in a trough?
No.
Okay.
This is I'm not going trough.
Okay.
You
It's a
can
little
get
too sloppy.
You could get this at a baseball game, but you do want to get napkins because it's going to get sloppy. I'm thinking more of a basket kind of situation because it does have a lot of like weight that you need to
you have
hold.
to carry it like this.
Yes, you have to hold it with 2 arms like a baby. So you've got your delicious hot dog. You're going to grill it on the meat of the Zacian sword. So that's going to get all nice and hot. You're going to toast it on the sword and flip it. It's going to be really cool. And then you're going to put it in your lovely bun. You've got off to the side your Taurus meat, ground beef, that's been cooking up a nice sloppy Joe. I don't know if there's some sort of Pokemon pun related to Sloppy Joe that I missed, but
what is there
or like
not
a
as
name,
like
maybe a Sloppy Gary.
Yeah,
you can call it a Sloppy Gary. You take that mixture, or you take the ground beef, cook it with some like onions and garlic, maybe throw in some like tomato sauce. It's very basic, like I was saying, and then maybe kind of throw in maybe even some barbecue sauce if you want to add in some tang. And then load up the dog with the sloppy. Kind of maybe spray some melted cheese, some almost nacho cheese consistency on top, and you've got yourself a delicious sloppy experience.
Yes, Ian.
Number 1, Grand Bowl. Mug dog?
Yes, so Gramble the Pokemon, is that the mug dog?
Oh, I forgot about
is.
that. Yes.
Or like maybe would Snubble be it?
I think Gramble would work as the mug dog.
Granbull definitely gives more intimidating energy. Like, I think I could see that, like, ripped, like, mug dog, aesthetic working with Granbull. But I feel like as a face, Snubble's got just, like, a good bulldog face that I could also imagine just right there.
Last time I went to the Isotopes not too long ago. Went to a game. $1 hot dog night.
Oh.
Terrible. Worst fucking hot dog I've ever had. God, like it wasn't like at first you're like, oh yeah, I'm getting like a $2 hot dog for half off. No, you're getting like a 10-cent hot dog marked up. It was disgusting. But the saving grace was I bought a bag of peanuts.
Okay.
No Cracker Jacks.
Were they just like peanuts or was it like Cracker Jacks?
I just said no Cracker Jacks.
Okay.
In the shell, which I love. I love a food that you have to kind of like get into. You know what I mean? Like oranges. It's such like I think it's a visceral experience that we're so in a world where you can get like boneless wings. We're kind of like removing ourselves from like the source material. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like watermelon.
So it gives you pause. It's like by the end of completing the task, it's like, do I really still want this?
It's like
And the answer is yes.
yeah, I got here with my own hands. My own 2 hands. I cracked this shell open on the peanut. I ate the peanut. And similar to a Texas Roadhouse.
I fucking knew you were going to say that. You threw it on the ground.
My question.
Okay.
When I'm getting sloppy with your dog at the Isotopes game, can I slop the floor too? Like,
Can you bite into it and it like slops out on both sides?
yeah, it just like
And then
pours
it's
like
just on the
a fire
floor.
hydrant.
I don't
straight
think
to
there's
the
any rule saying you can't. It's just a courtesy thing.
But it's like
No, but
encouraged.
But the floor of Zloppy Joe's is just like slopped all over the place, and you can slide on the floor.
Do you think at Zloppy Joe's they have like Zamboni Thursdays where like, whatever's on the floor is free?
Oh man, I don't know if it's necessarily disencouraged. I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way to answer your question.
Yeah.
Little monkey in a cowboy outfit, like you lay on the ground and it rides your back as you like inchworm across the floor eating the slop.
Why is there a monkey?
I don't know, you said Zamboni and that was the first thing that came to my mind.
What?
It's
Well, it has to be
like
driven by somebody.
Yeah, right,
obviously.
exactly. Come on, self-driving
This
Zambonis.
job to apes.
Yeah. This is how Planet of the Apes starts. We give the Zamboni driver jobs to monkeys, and they fucking take over.
They would.
Oh man, we again, Zloppy Joe's. We came up with so many good restaurants on this show. The Yum Brands Corporation, if you're listening, registered trademark Zloppy Joe's.
Yeah. Well, and specifically the Zloppy dog
Yes.
for this episode. I will
Yeah.
say.
All right, I've got a recipe. For the listeners at home, I'm wearing some nicer clothes than I usually do. And that was because I was at a nice party before recording I Choose You today.
Then you had to show up to this awful party.
No, this is a
Oh, you didn't just
Cursed
dress
party.
up for the podcast?
No, this party is more fun, but there's less free alcohol and hors d'oeuvres. So it kind of balances out. Like I'm having a better time, but I did get a free 2 glasses of wine in the
Yeah, the only limit is what's in your fridge, Jeremy.
Yes, that's true. But as I was at this fancy party, fancily eating a lamb meatball that was very good with a yogurt dipping sauce, delicious. I was thinking, what could a Zacian at a fancy party? What can we do? It's a royal Pokemon. It's in like a more refined setting. What can we do with it? And I was thinking, what if we made a charcuterie board?
Oh,
So,
God damn it.
I'm imagining that the Zacian sword has the finest honed edge in all of the Galar region, and it can cut such thin slices of meat and vegetable that you can create the most intricately designed charcuterie board that you could possibly imagine. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the Zacian. We're going to, he's dead. We're going to turn him into a sausage. And we're gonna, we're gonna let that sit for a while. It's gonna be a little bit of a spiced sausage kind of situation because we want it to have a little bit of kick as well. And the Zacian sausage is gonna be pretty like thick. It's gonna be like a little bit of a log situation. But with the Zacian sword, we're able to slice that sausage so thinly that we can like make little meat flowers on our charcuterie board. And that's going to be the main thing. So we're going to like design those. And then in the center of the meat flour, what we're going to do is we're going to get a small circle of Wooloo cheese. And we're going to put that in the center. So it's like the pollen in the center of the meat flour for the charcuterie board. And then the last thing is we're going to get some vegetables, maybe like a cucumber. And we're going to slice that real thin. And that's kind of going to be the design of the flour up. To the meat flour kind of situation, and then we decorate the rest of the board with a variety of nuts and other cheeses and meats to highlight the garden of delightful cold cuts that we have prepared for our fancy party tonight.
Nice.
Yes, Ian.
Do you guys feel like this recipe is maybe a little slap in the face, a little disrespectful, a little offensive?
To whom?
Go recall the Mickey Mouse short where the three of them were in the house.
where they cut the bean really thin.
They cut everything really thin to make the the really thin transparent sandwich because they probably fucking starved to death in that house and died.
Yeah.
But then
Okay.
fast forward like 70 years, Jeremy is making paper thin snacks on a charcuterie
Yeah,
as a
It's
little
like, it's like how
entertaining.
they have the depression sandwich. This is like peanut butter and mayonnaise on bread or
Right.
whatever. It's
Yes.
like this is an homage to the depression.
But now it's being served to only the wealthiest afford it at this gala.
Well, I will say this, is that in the Mickey Mouse and the Beanstalk short, their thin bean was, kind of a metaphor for their lack of resources.
Right.
But we were making many charcuterie boards at this gathering that will feed everyone there for the entire night. It's kind of like loaves and fishes from Jesus kind of situation,
Okay.
but on a charcuterie board. And I think the design element will make it elevate it above a thin bean.
It'll elevate it
guess-
above the poor people.
Right.
It's
I-
disrespectful.
I feel like that's not the problem that Ian had with it. Was like there wasn't going to be enough of food. It's like
You're
it
making
kind of,
so much out of so little.
No, but what I'm saying is that you're having a little bit of fun with it. They were in dire straits, and we have the
And
ability
you have
to
more
have
than
fun.
enough. Yeah.
Yes. No, they could be invited. They could eat some
They're
of
dead,
our
Jeremy.
charcuterie. No, they're not dead. If you watch the rest of it, they go to the Jack and the Beanstalk situation, and they get a goose that lays golden eggs.
no.
So they fucking are cutting it real thin and then living it up. I like that you're
Fake
saying this
news.
is
Goofy really died in 1937.
Man, and what is Max's deal then if his dad died before he was born?
Sperm
can't
bank.
explain that one.
Yeah.
Well, one thing as you were saying, like sliced thin, I couldn't help but think of like the thinnest, like Pixar Ratatouille loaf. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like perfect, everything's perfectly like layered and
God.
round
The
and just like
Pixar
but like
Ratatouille.
micro thin.
Yeah, the Pixar Ratatouille, like when they actually make the Ratatouille, not the movie Ratatouille. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And when
the dish.
When you see it, that's like the animation par excellence of thin food kind of situation displayed on screen. You're like, damn, he really knows how to cut the Ratatouille perfectly.
And I think you're getting there with this
Yes.
recipe.
And I hope that when people try our charcuterie board, they too have flashbacks to their childhood and remember better times.
Get ratatouille'd.
Yeah, they get. Well, I would say getting ratatouille is being controlled by a rat, and that that the experience of having like a not a trauma flashback, but like I love my life flashback. What's the inverse of trauma? But
Gratitude? I don't
yeah,
know.
but
Gratitude.
So you're getting gratitude in this situation. You learn to love life again. You learn to write better. Your art improves, all because of our thinly sliced food. And that's my recipe.
I do have to say, I think of all the recipes, yours presentation wise is probably the most thought out. I think.
I would say
Tease
Evans
you.
is pretty thought out. His has even got like a King Arthur vibe to it.
Yep.
Put lumps on a what do you want?
Guess I'm not getting Ben's vote.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's review the recipes. From Evan, we have Zacian lasagna. Zacian in a zucchini sword. From Ian, we have Zacian kebabs. Kazachian. Keeping up with the Kazachians. From Ben, we have a zloppy dog. And from me, we have charcuterie. So everyone vote.
I need to vote on my phone, so can someone send it to the...
Do you think
chat.
charcuterie is eaten by the finest in Russia?
Oh, that's good.
Ben, I'm sending you the poll.
Okay.
Excellent.
I'm gonna vote. Ben, don't look.
I won't. Not looking.
Oh, forgot I have to click on this. Oh no, I'm sorry, everybody.
Wow.
Life's
This is
hard.
the best part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I voted. Easy. And so someone else is going to have to read
Just in
the-
case you didn't find the link. Ian had to send it 8 times.
So it looks like I won with 3 votes, and Ben got my vote.
Wait, how does that work?
Hey.
What
What?
do you,
I got Ben. I
Well,
voted
it's
for
because
Ben.
there's 4 responses, but
I-
it's split into 2/3.
now it's Ian, Evan, did you get a vote?
I mean, I don't know if I got a vote, but I voted for Ben.
Okay, so Ben and me are going to be tied then.
Okay, so someone's vote
Okay.
didn't get registered.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's make sure to do a poll on the Discord between Ben and myself, and we'll discover: do you want the refined charcuterie board or the messy zloppy dog? It's the battle for the ages on the I Choose You Discord this week.
God damn it.
Anyway, let's move on to everyone's favorite section of the show. It's called the Whale Lord's Mail Horde, where we read your recipes sent into ichoosepod@gmail.com. That's ichewspod@gmail.com. Evan, I hear we have an email from Mike.
We do. Mike says, a quick email for you today. Zacian the sword doggo is a very good doggo and shan't be cooked. However, that intrepid sword that she wields is some serious cutlery and sets a new standard for whenever I read a recipe that references a big-ass knife. However, due to its legendary status, the intrepid sword can only be used for the most expensive and exquisite meals. Otherwise, it disguises itself as the rusted sword found in the slumbering wield. Until next time, boys, Gov Mike.
Nice. So you do have to be pure of heart to cut with the sword.
Right. I think that also kind of lends credence to maybe your perhaps more disrespectful recipe of using it for only, certain occasions.
Ian, I'm going to level with you. When you said it was disrespectful, I thought you were referencing the Capri Sun pouch, and I was very confused.
Yeah, not a very pouch-like Pokemon.
No.
You can shame and humiliate him as much as you want.
Up for grabs.
Speaking of pouches, Evan, can you randomly select a number for Pokemon, the section where we pick next week's Pokemon? Give me a number between 810 and 905.
All right. Next time, which might not be next week.
No, it will be next week.
Oh, it might be next week. 8:56.
8:56, you say? We've done that already. Incredible.
Oh, shoot. 8:12.
8
Starter time.
8:12. I believe that's going to be... That's Rillaboom. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm just going to bump it up one to Score Bunny.
Nice.
Okay.
So
Nice.
next week's Pokemon is going to be Score Bunny, the soccer-playing rabbit. And send in your Score Bunny recipes to ichoosepod@gmail.com. That's ichewspod@gmail.com. All right, now's the time of the show where we find where you're living on the internet. Plugs. Ben, where are you?
Find you on the internet.
You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Ben C. Montoya, or on Tumblr at thefearnow.tumblr.com. And after this episode ends, you should get your little tippity tap of fingers on your phone over to the old Hang Up podcast feed and listen to the latest episode.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Ian.
You can find me at Musician Davis on Instagram, and today, while you're listening to this, on Tuesday, you can check out kunm.org and listen to me, my band, Equinox Jazz Group. We went to the studio, recorded 5 original tunes, one of which is mine, and had a little interview. So go to kunm.org Tuesday, the May 14th, and around 7 or 8 p.m. Mountain, I will be not live on the radio, but for the first.
But you will be on the radio.
I will be on the radio, and if you miss it the day of, it'll be in the archives of KUNM for a week after
Cool.
May 14th. So check that out.
Hell yeah.
Is there any way to listen to it in perpetuity?
No.
Oh.
You can email me, and I can, when I get the mixed recording of the recordings, I can share those.
There you go.
All right. Evan.
You can follow me on X at @E_Van Aubrey, posts at @E_Van. you can follow along as I try to make a movie.
Whoop, whoop.
Underscore Mesa Studio underscore on Instagram, which is MESA Studio. Underscore on both ends. Because Mesa Studio was taken. God damn it.
God damn it. Yeah, the boys be making movies out here.
Wow.
That's true.
You can follow me on Twitter at VelocityPrime1, at Blue Sky at VelocityPrime1, on Tumblr at VelocityPrime1. You can head on over to the-avocado.org, Jeremy Zelick, the-avocado.org, Jeremy Zelick. Check it out. And that has been all for the show tonight. This has been I Choose You. You can find us on your favorite podcasting apps, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, and Spotify, or your podcast catcher of choice. If you like our show, make sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to help us go up the ranks. If you want more I Choose You goodness, check out our social media pages. I Choose Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, and Tumblr. If you want to be a part of the I Choose You community, head on over to our Discord. Links are available in the episode description. They have fellow choosies. You can submit recipes, participate in community events, all that goodness, all on the I Choose You Discord. Last but not least, head on over to our official website, ichooseyou.menu. ichooseyou.menu has a full episode archive and merch store for your delightful perusal. There are still Poke Burger t-shirts left for you to acquire. Check that out on the ichooseyou.menu. And this has been the show.
They're up there.
Whoa!
The shirts. Order them right now.
This has been the show, and I've been your host and Alton Brown of the group with Jeremy Zelick.
I've been your friend on this show, Ben Montoya.
I've been your Alton Brown, Ian Davis.
And Evan Aubrey.
And to all the choosies out there in Radioland, in a while, Totodile.
I wanna be the greatest chef, like no one ever was. To cook them is my real test, to taste them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Each Pokemon to understand the flavor that's inside. I choose you, gotta cook 'em. It's you and me. Ben, Evan, and Jeremy. I choose you. Oh, we're your best friends. In this world we must digest. I choose you, gotta cook 'em. Our appetite will pull us through. You roast me and I'll roast you. I choose